Welcome to Abracadabra, Create What You Speak. I'm iLan Azoulai, spiritual mentor and a sound therapist for you who are ready to reclaim your power, to remember your gifts, to map your experiences and to bring them out to the world, to shine and to enjoy along the way, all with love and no fear. This is an empowerment program where I bring people from all walks of life, all occupations, artists, musicians, spiritualists, educators, anyone who is in their gifts and is here to share it with the world, to be inspired and to inspire others. And my guest today, I'm happy and delighted to have here Galit Mccord. She is a singer, a film person. We'll talk about all her gifts, but she is here to announce and to share with us her musical creations. You know, we all have dreams. Some are big dreams, some are small. Nevertheless, we have dreams and desires to be in a place, to create, to discover ourselves and to discover our dreams. Galit is a singer-songwriter based in Los Angeles and was born in Israel. She had dreams too, and she still have. Big dreams to create, be creative and to inspire others. She moved to Berlin at one point in her life and was co-founder of SRO Entertainment, produced Hollywood features, for example, Ask the Dust with Tom Cruise, featuring Salma Hayek, Colin Farrell, and Donald Sutherland. In 2018, she began her music career, which flourished beautifully, taking a unique angle of converting poetry into radio format songs. Since then, she released over 20 successful singles. She has a unique Gaelic color to her voice. One can see a resemblance to Sarah McLachlan, Tori Amos, Johnny Mitchell. She just completed her first full-length album, My Time Is Due, is about to release as we're speaking, with her first single, Alive, already came out August 13th. And without further ado, I really want to invite my wonderful guest, Galit. Hi, Galit.
I don't know who to trust. The information is vague and the corruption is high. Who should I believe? It isn't easy to say. I'm sick of all the lies. Don't wanna feel too small. Don't know what's right, what's wrong. But I swear that it's burning in me. This is my time, I call. I'll keep on being strong. For the love I am yearning. The world going crazy, crazy. Things never change so fast. Love isn't easy, easy. Together we can make it last. Can you hear my whispers when I say
There
Yeah.
you are. Hi,
Hi.
Galit. How are you?
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Welcome. Wonderful to have you and to hear you and to see you as well now that we are conversing here on
Yes.
this video. So, Galit, you've accomplished and still accomplishing quite a bit, and maybe you can just share with the viewers and listeners a little bit more about yourself, how you started. You'll do a better job than I just did. So, and
I think
more
you
to
did
the
wonderful
detailed.
just now. I was like surprised. Oh my God, that's all this information is there. Yes. Obviously, I'm focusing on my music right now. I'm a singer-songwriter. That's my passion. That's what I do in the past few years, even though it was discovered a little bit later than what you would expect. Um, it's definitely the passion. It's definitely what I life. But yeah, my beginning was a little bit different in terms. It's still the entertainment world, right?
Hmm.
Because making film is still an entertainment. But yeah, if you would tell me, if you would ask me a few years back, if I'll end up, what's the odds that I will end up making music? I will go like, huh? Like it was as strange to me as not necessarily I feel like music has always been a part of me, but I feel like there's a difference. Most people probably feel that way, but there's a difference between having passion to music versus making it a profession or just like
Or
doing
doing
it
it,
professionally.
actually.
Exactly.
Just doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And true. So, but yes, at the beginning, I was in film production, and I end up forming a company in Germany based on German film funds. That I wouldn't get too much into it, but basically, it's just there's a system in Germany that been pretty much used and abused in Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like their tax system and their ability to literally hide money. And the way they do that is they're, instead of paying tax, they're investing in film, and they get to,
Yeah, yeah. I'm familiar
take
with
a
that industry
photo
there.
with Antonio Banderas or whatever it is, and say, oh, hey, hang it in their living room and say, I produced that film where were invested in those films, but they get those credits and all of that. And it was a lovely, fancy way to um, kind of like hide money. And through that, we created a film fund that produced a bunch of Hollywood films, like the names.
Yes, yes. There are quite a few. If you go to the IMDb page and put your name in, you can see quite a few credits. This is this is quite amazing. You touched. You come from we come from the same country, from Israel, and growing up there, you don't lick milk and you don't drink honey. Let's put it this way. You really kind of have to push the boundaries and go beyond. While America is considered to be the land of opportunity, and if you put yourself, you can succeed. In Israel, it's a little difficult because of the culture, because of the way that things are. And here you are, leaving Israel to Berlin, which is rather easier because there are many similarities actually in the way that things are being done in Germany to Israel, and you're succeeding and you're opening a company, and you're working with names like Tom Cruise and Sutherland and others, and you said something. There is a difference between dreaming, right, and dreaming and actually living that dream, taking that dream out of dream phase and making it a reality. And sometimes taking a dream out of dream phase is sometimes unconsciously is not something that we sometimes want. Sometimes we want to keep a dream as a dream. It's like seeing an idol, a music idol that you like, or an artist, and after you meet them, you said, I should have kept them in the dream phase, because you discovered something about that person that you don't really,
That is very different than what you had in
you
mind.
don't connect. So how you were in the army, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. How you as a woman Okay, now we're talking about a patriarchal society, a very patriarchal society that did not, at least more at that time, did not allow women to flourish. And here you are, coming out of this kind of a society and creating your dream, which is fascinating. This is what this is all about. This is what I love doing, is working and talking with people who have came out of their comfort zone of telling yourself stories. What was the trigger that pushed you out of Israel to do film? Let's start with that. What was that? And with the difficulties as a woman, as
Yeah, listen, the difficulties definitely were there for sure. I never felt, I've never had that mentality of a repressed woman. You know what I mean? I never went there. It's not how I was brought up. So it wasn't part of my, I don't feel like it's something I had to step up. I think I grew up with a lot of sense of, but I agree with you at the same time that this is, especially when I started, right? Yes, it was different to be a woman in a room full with a bunch of men that for the most part was really double my age in the good, like I'm being
yeah, no, I get you.
or a lot more.
I get you.
So it's definitely a man's world in that respect. But it has been a man's world also when Johnny Mitchell, did Blue and broke all the rules and didn't follow any rules, where everybody around her, including her peers, were telling her that she's nuts. She's revealing herself, she's authentic, she's doing everything that you were not supposed to do, because at that time you were supposed to be a Marilyn Monroe. That was the image of or the concept of being a star, and she didn't fit in that thing. She went to what she sold is the truth.
Yes.
And that was a crazy concept. Like, what? You can't do that.
That's right.
You have to have like an image and pretend and do all these things so people would love you and admire you. And you write about that's where the conception of, like when you meet somebody that you admired all your life or admire in the past,
Yes.
and meet your expectations, that's terrible, because that's what happened. That's what a star used to be. I'm actually happy that it's changing, because I feel that there is a change, there is a progress. I did end up being in Germany. I did end up being, a part of huge meetings. It's, the studio I worked with is a film studio in Germany. It's actually the largest film studio in Europe. And it's owned by Vivendi, which is a French company that is like an empire by itself. And so, yes, you deal with all these kind of people, and you know that it's all these things. It's not just being a woman, but it's being young, very young. And so all these things are a factor, but I think that it's so important not to let it discourage you. And it's so important not to get caught up in this, because you're just feeding it the way I see it.
Yes.
My mentality is like, okay.
Yeah, this feeds into every aspect in life, not to let others, really other people's stories, dictate our own success and our own power to rise and to show our gifts.
Yes, exactly true. And I think come from the mentality of how they're going to view me, and they're going to. Yes, there was a part of me that was like very driven, and I wanted to prove myself.
Yes.
I mean?
For sure. Here's the thing. We all go through those feelings,
right,
and experiences, just a different story. Everybody has a different story.
I agree with you.
You started it at the age like this, and there is no, you said in the beginning, a little later than expected.
Right.
I don't buy into this, but that's okay. I get what you're saying, because we all the time also compare ourselves, right? We compare ourselves to this or to that, or to how we compare ourselves to our own expectations, our own desires. And if we wanted at one age, why did you choose to leave the film in the capacity that you've been, the film industry?
Okay, so To be honest, I didn't really choose. It wasn't a conscious choice. I don't do it anymore to some degree, but really it was uh, having children, the
I
family,
see.
and listen, I'm sure that if the fire and the passion was there to make film as much as I feel it for music, I would have found a way. Just thinking about it in retrospect, I would have found a way. But it was just very, very demanding. First of all, before I had children, I traveled so much. I can't even, it was so nuts that I could have been easily in 10 different countries in 1 month. Sometimes, especially when there was all these, I remember we were in Milano festival, and then Polish some festival, and then Cannes, and then back to LA, and then to Europe, and to Germany, and then maybe Israel, for a visit or something. And it's been crazy and nonstop. And it was lovely. I loved it. I still love it. I love every part about traveling, whether it's professional or personal. I just love it. So, but it's super intense. And I think what happened is that as a woman, as a mother, especially, I mean, that can happen to men too, but really it's on that respect, it is different. And it's something that I feel totally fine to acknowledge and to accept. It's different. You have to make choices. That is the truth. And, I'm not a big fan of saying, oh yeah, you can have it all. Yes, you can have it all, but you have to create changes in your life. You have to create priorities. You have to sometimes schedule things. So I'm going to have this now, or I'm focusing on this now, and this will have to be in the shadow for a little bit, and then switch if you need to. But you can't have it all at the same time. You have to kind of learn to manage your life when it comes to a very intense career life and having family. And it's something that it's hard to find a balance between the two. And I wasn't I could have done that obviously, but I wasn't comfortable with having nannies raising my kids. And it's not even things I knew, you know what I mean? It's it's things you understand. Looking back, I go well, what was I thinking? Because there was a time I was so frustrated, why things are not going or why things are not happening. And looking back, I can tell you, obviously they're not going to happen. My focus was not there. My focus was with the kids. So
That's right.
whether it's not even just the focus, it's an energy.
That's
My
right.
energy was around those kids, especially in the first years of life, right?
Yeah.
And so the more I was focused there, the less thing happened when it came to career and movies and all of that. So it gradually just faded. Again, I'm not saying I couldn't do different choices. I could, and I would probably stay on the path and be on the path, but that part of the children, that probably is very much related. I mean, again, it's related to my past and how I grew up, and I was no, I can't have other people raising my children. I want to be a part of it. I'm not going to miss the first step. I couldn't do it.
Of course. Yeah,
that's part of it, and that's where I felt I was still doing a lot of stuff, but just the focus shift from one thing to another, for sure.
Yeah. So now, which is wonderful, the reason you are here is because you're not there.
Right.
So this is wonderful. You made this choice, and once you realize that, your energy is not in one place, then you could really apply yourself and rid yourself of your own judgment. Because, if you wanted to do this and this, and before you came to the understanding and to the acceptance, I believe that there were some conflicts within yourself. But I want to do this, but I'm with my children, but I love my children. I don't want to miss it, but I want to do. So there was a point where it came to okay, this is where I am, and I love it, and I'm going to give it 100%.
That didn't happen until the music, but it's even meant to say, okay, this year I'm focusing on my music. That doesn't mean I'm abandoning my kids. It's like,
That's right.
okay,
That's
bye.
great. That's great.
That's not it. But it means this year I've done my part. I raised my kids. They're a little bit older now. And I knew that will take a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of discipline to focus on. It's not just the making the music, it's the whole thing around it, right? And so that was a conscious decision. This year, I'm giving it all.
Music. This is wonderful.
And I'm doing it. And that's what I meant about like having to find a balance, but also sometimes it's about having to learn to manage it and also to schedule your priority. And again, it doesn't mean that you prioritize something for the rest of your life, you know?
Yes. No, you're doing it now. You're doing it now. You didn't give up. It's not either or. Many think that, if I do this, that I'm giving up this, and do this, I'm giving up that. For you who are joining, now I'm speaking with Galit Mccord. She's an Israeli-born, Los Angeles-based singer-songwriter, talented, wonderful, and a go-getter, an achiever by harmony. This is the thing that, it's not, many people think about balance, about 50-50. It's not all the time 50-50, it's about harmony. And harmony could be 70-30, 90-10, 80-20, and it could be 50-50 as well. And this is a key about manifestation, that what you just described. It is not about, I give up that. It's not about giving up your kids. You are reprioritizing, let's say, every year or every so often.
Exactly, reprioritizing.
This
for a time being, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So tell me. So let's talk about your music now. Okay.
Yes.
And later, for you who are going to stay here, we're going to enjoy this clip live from Galit's new album. And how did it start? Okay, so you're saying, I'm focusing on my music, and you started not long ago. What, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Something like that. This is fascinating, and you've climbed, and you're still climbing, and I'm happy to have you here and to see how that flourishes for you as much as possible. So tell me the first step. Okay, I'm deciding. What's next?
Okay, so even before that, like I was totally unaware to my ability to belong in this business in any way. You know what I mean? I couldn't even imagine. But I always loved singing. I'd never done it professionally. And for me, it really started from just like writing music. Writing poems.
Poems.
So, yeah, and that was a passion always. I remember even when I was in the film production and we were traveling, and I would use every moment while we were traveling to write. I always loved writing. And but I've never really thought of the options to, making it something that, the format that you hear in radio station of a song. And one day, I don't even know what it was, but it just clicked to me. Okay, how about I'll take my poems that were written in a form of a poem and try to convert them into a form of like a radio song. That was the first initial idea. And that's what I started to do. Then I started to get excited. Ooh, I like it. This is great. This is good. It's working really great. I think the first song that I wrote was Apocalypse. There was 2 songs I wrote at the same time, Apocalypse and Shadow, and I'm very proud of both of them. And until now,
until now, meaning you're not happy with them until now?
Tell you why I said that. That's funny because often what happens is you get so excited and you think like, oh my God, this is so great. This is so amazing. This is a great song. And then often you look at it in retrospect and you go like, it was okay.
Well, okay, I hear you.
These are 2 songs I'm still very proud of. It was the first like writing songs in a format over radio that I did. And I got excited. The next stage was like, okay, I need to find a singer. And make a long story short, like it was never part of my consciousness to even like consider singing my songs at the time. But I had 2 cousins coming here visiting me from Canada, and it was the first time I've ever shared with anyone what I was doing. And they got really excited. And I told them I'm looking for a singer. And they said, well, why are you looking for a singer? You should sing it yourself. They heard me mumbling here and there. And like, I think you have a great voice. I sang a song to them at that time. And they really insisted. One of them was actually a professional singer. So that kind of helped in, just like an old aunt that doesn't understand about music and sing, that's why you go to American Idol and you have all these people that don't know how to sing. So she was actually a professional singer, and she's like, you have a wonderful voice. I don't know why you're looking for a singer. So it was a turning point, but it wasn't enough yet. I decided to go to a vocal coach. And I was like, okay, I'm going to ask him if he thinks, does he think of my voice? And if I didn't want to screw it up, right? Now you're like in love with your songs and you don't want to like have them, even if it's you and you have the passion and you want to sing it. I was more like, no, I'm not. If I'm just a mediocre, that's not an option. Like I want a great singer to sing those songs. And anyway, to make a long story short, you can imagine what he told me about my technical abilities, about my voice and all of that. He was flattering me and all. And then just before I left, he said, I have one concern. And he said, my concern is that you're going to leave this room and you're not going to believe me. And I think if he didn't say that, that's exactly what would have happened. Yeah. It was like,
you go right back to your old pattern.
Yeah, I would go. Exactly. I think it was so important. I keep that recording till now because it was like a real true breakthrough in that moment. Understanding, oh my God, like it wasn't so much what he said about my vocal abilities and my range and all of that. It was like, wow, am I that? Like, what is? That's what he got from me. That's what I made him think and feel, that even his words are not enough. So that was a moment that changes everything.
Yeah, realizing that we stand in our way many times.
Yes, exactly. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start recording my song. And in the process, I met my first producer at, there's a big event here in Los Angeles once a year, ASCAP Expo.
Yep. Yeah, ASCAP.
And I went there. And I met my first producer. It was another, this is where fate is like incredible, the way it works. Incredible, because I remember I knew nothing, and I knew nothing about the business. I knew nothing about how things work. And I didn't even know what to expect or how to begin or how to start. And people think like, well, yeah, you have a lot of connections from the film. What does that have to do with anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but this is great. This is great because you put your energy to the universe. And you're ready to receive.
Yes.
And many times those places where we don't know where we're going, when we don't know what we're doing, we're just, I don't know, This is when I started my documentary. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going. If I knew then what I know now, probably then I wouldn't do it. Yeah. It's the same thing. So you put yourself out and it just landed on your lap.
Wow, it's incredible because I literally entered it was a big hallway and there were like hundreds of people and there was a huge line to sign into the expo. And I remember I was like, oh, we were like complaining, why does, we already paid, it's already done. Like, why is there a huge line? And you know what, this fate have his own way, the way it works. It's just fascinating. But, I think I can't remember if I was standing there the last or he was, but anyway, I think he came to me and asked, are you the last in line? And I said, yes. And now we had all the time in the world to start talking because the line was so long, right? And we connected. And at the end, we exchanged phones and he ended up being my first producer. So that happened. And I think like working with him was like, also like very, very, I just sent him a thank you note, just left out like a week or 2 weeks ago with my new album, because he's not involved in any way in the making of the album. That's been done by a new producer.
I see.
but I felt like like I really felt like I do need to thank him because he was, I started to see myself through his eyes. He was
Hmm.
so excited about everything, about my voice, about my songs. I remember the way we started. I sent him about, like, I think 10 or 12 songs, and I told him, choose, like, which one you want to, like, and he got so, like, I thought he's just going to choose one and we'll start production, but he came back with a very detailed breakdown of each songs, of what he loves about the song, and
Nice.
strong chorus. I love this. He loved all the songs. He was like, "This is thrill. I don't even know what to choose myself." And then we end up choosing one. But the point is, I started to understand my value through his eyes because he got so excited, and I was like, really? At the beginning, so you learn, and he I don't want to compliment myself too much, but through things that
That's
he was
okay.
saying, it's like, I don't understand how you were so unaware of your ability to sing. So when someone tells you that, it's a wake-up call,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You needed that person to come because that person had some kind of chord, right? He hit a chord, yeah.
Yeah,
And he hit a chord that you needed that person. And that was your time to see things. You had to go through certain things and to come to a place where you recognize that.
right, right. So it took me a long time to come to that point.
Yeah, and I heard your music, and I told you I could hear a combination of resemblance to Sarah McLachlan, Natalie Imbruglia, yeah, Johnny Mitchell. I could hear that all, and your control of your voice is really nice. Is really good, and produced really nice. The video clips as well.
Right.
We'll
Oh,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we'll play a live in a little bit, and so so you start doing this. So now you're seeing it's working. You start recording the music. You find the producers. You find now, as far as writing the music, as far
Mhm,
as coming to the creative side of writing the music,
mhm.
different than the okay, I'm going to do that. Do you find that you went to the same place that you were when you were younger writing music? To the same, or is it something different? How did you go about that? What was your process? What was your, maybe you haven't thought about that, but
Mhm.
you just went at it, but just what was it?
I think for me, I think writing was always there. I think there was a disconnection between understanding what my abilities are, what I'm capable of, and what's not. I think writing for me, and the whole thing about becoming a songwriter is, I never felt like, okay, I'm gonna, wake up in the morning and say, I'm gonna write a song today. For me, I feel like the music come to me, and it's a very, very um, either instinct, like, and it's an instinct. It's something spiritual that is
Yeah,
happening, and you just connect to a specific channel. And I always felt like, it's often for me start with the melodies anyway. So I hear all these melodies running in my head,
hmm,
and then often the words will follow, at least for the chorus. And often in this whole process, it's the first thing that I get is the
is
chorus. But
it,
I literally almost don't feel like I write it because I feel like I get it.
you
I
get it,
get it,
yeah, you're channeling
I
it, yeah,
receive it. I challenge it.
channel it, yeah.
Yes. And I can be cooking in the kitchen, or I don't know, shopping at the store, and then I go like, "Oh my God, where's my phone? What a
So
great
you're
memory!"
recording it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's your measure
Mhm,
of knowing that a song is good? For example, I did a few programs with the great Mati Kaspi, and
mhm.
his thing is, if I remember it, it's good. If I don't, it's not good. So how do you know that a song is good? Not about what other people are telling you, but
Right, right, right. First
you.
of all, that's a great indication. If it keeps playing in your, and I find it all the time happening all the time, then it's definitely an indication. Um, Listen, a strong chorus is definitely one very important element in having a successful song. Um, but often it's not necessarily the, often things will change. Often things that, well, I wouldn't say often, but it does happen that one song that you felt like, oh my God, that's a hit, you know what I mean? Is not being received as well as something that you thought, oh, that's a little artistic for most people or whatever.
Yeah,
So it's not, you know, they have their own life,
yeah,
right? And only when all the elements come together, then you can have a better sense of what it becomes, right? It's like a little
yes.
baby in the process. I mean, can you describe what this baby is going to be when he's 2 months old in the womb of his mother? It's a little hard, right? Even though all the elements are there, right? But he's not born yet. And so I think that's the same thing about song. I think it's hard to put a finger and to say, but I do have a lot of times strong feelings about certain song that I feel like they're really strong. And I feel like often I'm right about that. So this week it just happened. I called my producer and I'm really, you know, after all this, like working on the album and so much like writing and writing and writing, I definitely feel like I need to rest a little bit. But it's almost like it's not really my choice. Like I get those
I hear
melodies
you.
and they're coming. So what are you going to
Yeah,
do with
yeah.
them? You know, I can delay some to later, but what happens is you get excited. So I called him and I said, okay, we really need to talk because I got these like, and I told him exactly what we're talking about. Like, listen, some are good, like, but some are great. You know what I mean? And the good we can deal with later, but there's two or three that demands reaction and action right now.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
yeah, let's just do like he's not in LA, so we'll do like a Zoom meeting and try to dive into it. But sometimes, yes, there's certain songs that you do get the feeling that this is special.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've done uh, y- after this we'll go and we'll listen to the song, but you've done something that is I remember as a child I loved doing, and then when I studied it, but you did something really interesting which not many musicians are doing. You took poetry and you converted it into a pop format, like what you call a radio format, but you know it's like A, B, C, you know, that's kind. And that is really unusual. Other musicians, Israeli musicians that I can think of is David Broza. He took like Yates, right, and composed it and like stuff like that. So you took something which is unconventional, and you converted it. How, you know, this is quite a process, because it's like making not a feature film but a short. You know, shorts are more difficult because you have to be able to put everything in 15-20 minutes rather than an hour and a half of a film. So how did that come about, and how is the process in that? Did you have to rethink the poem? Did you now here are the lyrics before the music, right? So you have the lyrics before the music. So how is the process that you try to match music to the poem, make it, what
So
came first?
so yeah, so that was actually only at the very beginning. Was the the idea of tr- um, transforming those songs, those poems into
Yeah.
songs. But later on, I let it go. So I still have tons of poems that I just that originally I was like, oh, this could be a great song and this can be a great song, and but I let it all go. I just let it all be, and everything that happened right after the first few songs. That's how it. The idea of how it started, but it didn't continue. It's not that right now I'm going back to my old poem trying to make them a radio song. Once the process started, and that's what I started to do, then millions of other songs start to come, like on a daily
I see.
basis. I hear songs and melodies, and the lyric is more like, I see. I That was even a discovery for me, because I thought my strength was the lyrics.
Ah,
which I discovered that is not. I mean,
interesting.
the lyrics is, yes, I can sit and think what I want the song to be and write the lyrics, but that's like more, not always and not 100% of it, but still like an intellectual or just cognitive
I
process,
hear
right?
you. I hear you.
But with the lyrics, that's where I feel like is the gift, because that just comes
I hear you.
and
Okay.
often
Okay.
effortless. You don't do anything. You don't, there's like actually that process have as little possible thinking as possible.
Wow,
You know what I
interesting.
mean? You don't think, you actually feel. And that's a whole different thing, because when you write the lyric, you're in your head, you're deciding. It's not
I
always.
hear you.
Sometimes there's one song, Thank You.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the song, that I really feel like it literally wrote itself. I don't even know what happened. I remember I was in bed and I was like, okay, like I had already all um, the melody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I figured it all out. I was the verse and the pre-chorus and the chorus and the bridge, and I needed to write words for it. And so I remember being in bed and thinking, okay, I'm gonna start. And I looked at it as a first draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that's gonna be many, many more drafts coming after that. And like I don't, within 15 minutes or whatever, I'm looking back. I was like, oh, I wrote it. You know what I mean?
The first time is always the best, you know.
It was so weird, but yeah, it kind of wrote itself. I
This
don't know
is
what happened.
this is
What I
amazing.
was expecting to be a first draft just turned to be that.
To be the thing, to be the thing, yeah. Because that's right. Many times
But
it's like
I
that.
would say that you'll be surprised though how many, not that I have statistic, but I've heard many times before. That's the process for many other artists. I don't know, like it's here in LA, I don't know where else, but it started from writing poems or just like the love for writing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
hear
think
you.
same family.
Yeah. Totally. I hear you. Were there poems that you? By the way, did you publish ever your poems that you wrote?
No, I
You
never
never
did.
published your poems. Okay.
No.
Were there poems that you thought that they will not be that great, let's say if you would publish them, but then they took off when you put music to them as a song format?
No, I actually still feel like there's some that are great, just as they are. And maybe what I should do is, yes, at some point consider to publish. There's one that I wrote. I think I did share it once on social media, um, that I still plan. So it's not really a melody thing, but I see like a whole electronic production around
Yeah,
it,
I
like
hear you.
something like, yeah, like I have a specific vision for it, and I might just do it at some point. But
That's
and leave
fascinating.
in the form of a poem as it is.
Yeah,
So
fascinating.
yeah,
So your album "My Time Is Due"
yeah,
was released.
yeah. The first single was released August 13th.
So the first single was there, "Alive," right? And so let's take a look at this wonderful clip. There you go.
Yeah.
Trying to stay out of my head. Why would you hurt the one that you've made? You want me so wrong. So I write. I'm in a cage of a mind that will kill. Sweet quiet rage combined with a thrill. It's going to soar to the core tonight. All the signs I couldn't see. All the time I thought you wanted to bury me, wanted to bring me back to life. And all of the angels couldn't carry me. I'm laying like dead, but I'm alive. Alive, alive.
this is fascinating, Galit. You know, this is really encouraging and empowering, and I hope whoever is watching here, I know that I'm watching, and I'm being encouraged by you, and I really love speaking with you, and off air, on air. You know, it's really great. This is so. The production of this clip. Do you want to give who produced it and give
Yeah,
some credits for that?
um, the producer for this song and for my whole album is Adam Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
He's in LA, right?
I'm sorry?
Adam Perry in LA, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he moved to Las Vegas, but
LA, Vegas, the same thing.
yeah,
It's like neighboring.
exactly. I think it was great.
That's great.
You know, we absolutely enjoyed working together, making together. I think we're very both passionate people, and the music, the song is what we put first. Him and I don't think you know, we put ego on the side.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really an issue, and we really, our agenda is to just create something special, create something that we're proud of. And we talked about it many times, you know, in terms of like results, in terms of like comparing yourself to, you know, other artists and what they're able to achieve in a short time, or, you know, the whole marketing part of the songs, and something that none of us are too excited about, but it's a part of it. It's just has to be done.
A part of it.
And so, but we both come from a place, Adam and I, obviously, of, I often share with him my ideas, my songs, my melodies, and he's just doing a great job in production, and that's crucial, you know.
Yes, very much so.
Yes, and I'm very, very happy with the results in terms of like production, and even a level of Grammy Award producers that were complimenting the production, and, you know, what we were able to achieve, Adam and I, and so I feel very confident that what we were able to do was, you know, at the highest level there is.
Yes,
know,
no, it's great. It's really produced beautifully, and your voice is beautiful, and you bring it out nicely, and it's just wonderful. It's just really a joy to sit and to speak with you. I want to thank our mutual connection who connected between us.
Of course.
You know, do you want to talk about her?
Oh, Dikla.
Yeah, Dikla. Dikla is also a great singer.
She's a wonderful singer, and she's a very sweet soul coming from a beautiful family.
Yes.
Gorgeous too. I can't help it because she's just that gorgeous.
Yeah.
And
so thank you for her for connecting us.
Yes, thank you, Diklalish.
and so please watch for Galit's album. My Time Is Due is coming up. This clip. Thank you for sharing us this clip. Any last words that you want to share with us? Any last words of encouragement that you want to give to those who are battling, if I think it is the right word, you know, between themselves? It is really getting out of our own way. That many times is, action can be simple, but to get to that place takes courage. And so, any last words for our listeners, and before we are flying off?
I do feel like, for the most part, we are the number one reason. We are the one that are holding us back most of the time. And it's our fear, it's our thoughts, it's our history, it's all these things. So I think that so much of any kind of success, just in general, has to do with so much personal work that you have to do with yourself.
Yes.
Before you are able to share anything from you out into the world.
That's true.
So I think that, and I think most people know it. I don't think that I say anything new, right? I mean,
in different levels, you know, everybody's experiencing it differently. Sometimes when they hear it,
you are questioning your path, or you're questioning, like, why is this not happening to me or anything like that. Not that like I don't want to come out like a preacher that figure it all out.
No, you're sharing your experience.
I'm still in the process. I'm in the process every day. There's some regressions sometimes, and then you have to put yourself back in the path, and sometimes it's not an easy thing to do. But I would just say that really my conclusion is you have to do a lot of self-work, a lot of you need to absolutely figure out yourself before you can start, expect things to happen. And you have to really be careful about what you think and what you're inviting. You said that at the beginning, right? Just at the beginning of the interview, in terms of like how sometimes we have dreams and we want certain things, but we have fears and other issues that are holding us back. But often we try to find some exterior reason to why things are not happening. Right? It's because I took this job, I should never take this job. It's because I end up with him. It's because I did this. It's because I did that. I feel like you need to find reasons that are more relating to you and to how take responsibility of your choices, because it's all choices and it's a journey making choices. And the more you start taking responsibilities for your own action, the better chance you have to actually realizing your dreams.
That's wonderful. Wonderfully said.
The one thing I want to say is that, those who are interested and want to listen to my music, then yes, the album, My Time Is Due, is going to be out on September 7th. And it's going to be out on all music platforms, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, and all of that. And you can also connect with me through my website, social media, of course.
Yes, all the links are here underneath. Perfect. All the links are here, so anybody who wants to reach out to Galit, you have direct connections here. You can reply to this interview in the comments, and she will get it. And yes, and so this has been really wonderful and really a fun time to spend and to hear your music.
I enjoyed every second.
Wonderful.
Every second. I love the your mentality and your the things that you are trying to do for others and expose everything through this program. That's amazing.
Well, thank you, thank God, and thank you for being part of this. So see how we are two circles, how we are playing roles in each other's journey.
Right.
We do this, you do that. It's just, and it feeds our journey, and in turn feeds the others, our community, and the world. And this is really the intent of here. So Galit Mccord, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your creativity and your wisdom and your beautiful presence. And thank you very much.
And I appreciate it, and I truly enjoy it.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody who is watching. This is Abracadabra, Create What You Speak. I'm iLan Azoulai. Have a wonderful and creative week. Bye-bye.
Children raise, children raise. Unfiltered and all exposed, there's nothing more to disclose. You strip me down to the core, what got you, babe, to see no more? Now one thought I didn't share, now one emotion spared, and you said right from